Built in 1910, the British businessmen William Sime and Henry Darby founded Sime, Darby and Company with offices in Malaysia. Sime Darby Berhad is a big corporation. In the key domestic growth, Sime Darby is also involved in the plant, property, engine, energy and utilities and healthcare sectors. Oil palm and the original business of the company, the production of rubber tires, heavy equipment and motor vehicles, development property, power generation, and engineering services are all business activities. The manufacture of paints, tourism product cooling, and tourism services, hospitals and golf courses are other operations. Sime Darby is listed on the board of directors of Bursa Malaysia Securities. The company is the biggest multinational company in Southeast Asia and Malaysia. They operate in over 20 countries worldwide and employ approximately 100,000 people. The Scottish traveller William Middleton Sime, when he left his job as a merchant assistant in Singapore, he faced twice a failure in both the import and export business and other coffee farms. Talent attraction and development are central to the success of an organization, and Sime Darby Property has implemented various policies on recruitment, formation and development, employment practices, human rights and safety at work. Sime Darby Property went a step further in 2010. In keeping with the group's strategic growth plans, the company has identified a pretty obvious HR roadmap for these primary objectives and embarked on a transformation journey. First, to promote strong performance both individually and organically. Second, concentrate on talent development and leadership. Number 3, to identify, attract and help preserve necessary talent effectively. Sime Darby faced few of challenges in their staffing organization as well. Every employee working in the same built environment can transfer the impact of the corporate culture to one employee. For this reason, the organizational climate is similar to the weather effect. The weather conditions in the organization are up and down. When negative energy flows around, the organizational climate can change high consequences. However, when everybody appears to work together for the same goals, the organizational culture could have positive energy. Second, the organization's lack of focus on certain areas of workplace ethical practices has been found. Many companies found that ethics are not crucial, think that they are not sufficiently visible. The image and the climate change of the organization are endangered by the bribery, quick track money and others. The workers who witness it may feel frustrated and keep it in them and affect the entire climate. Thirdly, the organization's lack of focus on work motivation has been identified. Motivation to work can have negative consequences if the employees themselves feel the negative presence of nature of their employees. If all of these are related to the organizational environment, it is imperative to understand the level of precision, which has a major impact on organizational climate. This is what the issues arise, and the researchers find methods to overcome them.
Assalamualaikum. Hi, I'm Halimatul Najwa binti Mat Isa. I will discuss with you about recruitment and selection practice. My first point is staffing model, framework and theories. Staffing model. Sime Darby irrespective of where and what role, employees are driven by the identical goal to make positive return for the economy and society. Sime Darby are constantly on the lookout for people who are driven by passions and desire not only contribute to the corporate, but also to local communities and economies. Sime Darby welcome individuals who are loved to principle of respect and responsibility, integrity, excellence and enterprise. Number 1 is growth opportunities within a successful high-performing organization. As still growth with employees, recognize the various and invaluable talent and ensure they are in their optimum roles at the corporate. Number 2, value-driven and socially responsible. Empower our people to play a full of life role in building and developing the various business that are in. Number 3 is performance-driven culture with competitive rewards, driven by result and recognize and reward high-performing individuals. For framework is board cutter. The board cutter set out the board strategy, intent and description the roles and power that the board specially reserve for itself and people with each delegated to management, and in so doing also sets the tone of the various board committees. Number 2, promoting diversity. The policy set out the approach of the board on the composition of the board of director of Sime Darby Berhad. Number 3, board committees. The board committees are established to assist the board in the discharge of these statutory and fiduciary responsibilities. There are 3 board committees, namely Governance and Audit Committee, Nomination and Remuneration Committee, and Risk Management Committee. And last is theories. Sime Darby target market is potential buyer of automobiles, industry, government, and regional tourist market, consumer of edible and other fat oil, juice and sauce, plantation, property, meaning marine, forestry, construction, port sector, and power system industry product. Sime Darby positioning is corporate with integrity, respect, responsibility, and excellence and enterprise. The second point is human resource planning. It is of utmost importance that the human resource of Sime Darby plan within the event of a business expansion or variety. With a well thought out and rational plan, their human resources are capable of keeping the organization running at full capacity even with increasing demand for brand new workers. The last point is job analysis. Invite individuals who are driven, passionate, and thrive in a very diverse and high-performance environment to reach us. At Sime Darby Berhad, you may be a part of building nations, contributing toward economic process, and making a difference within the communities and environments that we sleep in.
Thank you, Najwa. I'm FAIZAH binti NAWI and I will present on recruitment and selection of internal or external candidates. External recruitment, on the other hand, takes place when a company searches out from people outside of the organisation, bringing innovative thoughts and approaches to an outsider. For Sime Darby screening and recruitment process, it takes around 4 weeks. They employ both open and targeted recruitment strategies depending on the available posts. They employ decentralized recruitment, which is coordinated by business units manager on a local level. Sime Darby communicates via organizational and employment websites. Sime Darby has their own official website, which they often use to promote information and job openings. Sime Darby will also promote a position on employment search platforms such as jobstreet.com. Additionally, they prefer employee referrals. Employees may suggest individuals they know, and there is a bonus for employee who refer job prospect who demonstrate success on the job during probationary term. They also have an internship. Internship are another method of recruiting. Internship with Sime Darby provides students with an opportunity to work in their preferred field. As a result, they may get important experience and gain insight into how the course of study relates in the real world, making them stronger contenders for employment following graduation. Additionally, They also employ executive search company to fill higher level professional roles such as general manager. This is category of extremely passive employee. These individuals are satisfied with their existing job and they are unlikely to leave owing to the favorable work environment and benefits. Headhunting these individuals requires a high level of awareness and seamless communications. These candidates are exceptional strategists who never contact recruiters for jobs and never reveal their identity publicly, which makes headhunting them very difficult. They are also accessible through extensive network personal referrals. Sime Darby Headhunter supply the customer with a list of businesses in which the search will take place. This is referred to as the hunting ground. This means that the candidates are sought from inside the target sectors, from large businesses operating within the industry or the adjacent fields. Interested candidates should follow the procedure outline, which is there are 5 stages, which is stage 1 for application and career opportunity, and then stage 2 phone screening, initial shortlisting, initial interview and evaluations. Some may be managed internal vacancy via job posting on the intranets, intra-placement and a talent management system, succession planning and a career development center. They can apply for an alternate mobility path as an employee and seek to be transferred to another department or business units. Additionally, they employ a hybrid method of internal recruiting in which both open and closed phases are pursued concurrently. Job openings are advertised and the Human Resource Department perform a search outside of the job posting system. By utilizing this hybrid method, they are able to attract a huge number of individuals as everyone is eligible to apply. For the decision making, the choice is best made on the basis of a strategy based on data. This refers to predefined criteria against which candidate is evaluated throughout the selection process in Sime Darby. The most qualified individual is then picked and offered a position. Therefore, they will continue to the stage 6, which is the complete shortlist, and then proceed to check for references and medical drug and alcohol assessment prior to employment. And then they forward to the stage 9, which is decision on selection and offer. Sime Darby selection panel will choose the best candidate for the job. Besides, impartial and confidential, when individuals apply for a job at Sime Darby, they may rest assured that their information will be kept private and treated fairly. They also use metric, which is metric used in the selection process. The time to recruit a candidate, and attrition rate of 90 days within the first 3 weeks is a clear signal of organisation dubious hire. And then candidate meetings to select how did the candidates feel about the selection experience. They also doing the efficiency of the funnel selection procedure, which is the company want less 50% of 100 candidates to be interviewed. They also use the quality hiring. This indication show how well a new employee is on the job after the first year. They are assessed by the management every year. If the recruitment quality is constantly high, the selection process is effective. Therefore, for the final match, once the firm have made a decision, the selection process does not stop. Candidate is still required to accept the offer. The organisation should have acquired all of the information necessary to convince the applicants to agree at this point. This data was obtained during the telephone screening and the employment interview. After that, the candidate is presented with the offer. If the offer is accepted, a contract is drawn and signed. The selection procedure will be completed after all parties have signed the employment contract. It is important for an organization's long success to choose and hire excellent individuals. A sound selection procedure helps a business to get a competitive edge. As such, human resources can make a vital contribution to the business. Thank you.
Suggestion for improving recruitment and selection. Staffing floors. If your company is short of employees and need new employees right now, this is something serious. Although Darby is familiar with this recruitment process, improvement needs to be made to ensure it gets the best employees. Getting the staff you need to perform a given job properly and systematically is not an easy task. Basic flow the Darby should follow if they want the best employee in their company. First, assessing manpower needs or planning. Based on the work that needs to be complete, it's easy enough to identify your workforce needs. They can be classified as below. Workload analysis, determining the various jobs under his responsibility and the organizational objective that needs to be archived. Workforce analysis, assess the capabilities of the workforce, identifying how many vacancies and how many new workers are needed to meet these needs. Recruitment. Once you know the skill you are looking for from that new employee, only then you can find the right employee. You also need to ensure that the new employee is able to work in group and is able to accept the opinion of others so that the work will be more orderly and efficient. Selection. When choosing your new employee, the things Darby needs to do are conducting interviews. Darby only conducts 10-minute interview with their candidates and only use the online platforms such as video calls. If this interview session is done face-to-face from the beginning, it can to some extent help the company to know the candidate in terms of neatness, availability, and also ability. Requires drug testing and other required medical tests. Darby provide medical tests up to all of their selected candidates. However, they do not provide drug testing on their candidates. Drug testing is especially necessary because to prevent their employees from working under the influence of drugs. Placement and orientation. Darby place their employee in appropriate preferred position based on their abilities. Then, Darby needs to conduct a special training for new candidates to introduce them to the background, vision, mission, and motto of the company. Head of department, supervisor, teamwork, as well as workplace environments such as toilet, prayer halls, canteen, and emergency routes. In addition, they also need to be exposed to a little about the work that is their responsibility so that they can change for the better. However, Darby can also reward employees who always provide good cooperation as a token of appreciation. Staffing method or strategies. Most companies still think that staffing strategies and hiring strategies are the same, but it is a different process. Recruiting is an endeavor in the course of employment, having to find and assist prospective candidates to apply for positions that have vacancies. Staffing is an ongoing process. This involves early recruitment method and how Darby handle a quality workforce and is satisfied with the result of their work. In line with purpose, in a timely role to meet the company's goal. In this way, staffing strategy is better known as people strategy. Strategies people look at where your job performance is and how you look forward to the company and consider things like how you give them meaningful jobs. So, first step is define your business goal. The best starting point for a staffing strategy is to plan your organization business in the short and long term of the company. Whether to increase revenue, add to the sector, launch a new product, and this goal is determined by the company itself. Therefore, the company strategy must be in line with the objective of the company itself. Define the landscape of your current people. Darby needs to identify the organizational objectives first. Then get a complete picture of their workforce, making the view accurate and clear to your people. Start with one source of truth. Analyze people pattern. At the most basic level, employers need to have a clear view of employee dates and information. It can help employer recruit and fill the position when necessary, minimizing the risk of losing employees and knowledge when someone leaves without completing a handover.
Next, suggestion for improving recruitment and selection practice in management and administration. Okay, Darby has a recruitment strategy that includes an online application for online recruiting to choose an applicant in the career at Darby system. Candidates can choose the related career path based on their qualification using this method. Nevertheless, there are a few phases in the recruiting and selection process, which means the time frame of hiring an employee takes a long time. So there are a few suggestions for enhance the recruiting and selecting process, including using both internal and external recruitment methods. Furthermore, every company must decide how the hiring process will perform after it has a clear idea of the kind of people it needs to hire. In other words, the organization's strategic goal for the recruiting process must be clearly state which method are used for finding applicants, and the company must decide who will be in charge of recruiting and budgeting. Okay, and then firstly, the way of improve recruiting process is the organization's strategic goal must be clearly stated. Okay, a job posting is the most frequently used technique for communicating job openings. Hence, any recruiting activity should start with a detailed analysis of the organization's strategic objective. By defining specific intended objectives for the process, the company may focus its efforts on candidates who will contribute the most to the overall success of the business. Okay, developing goals for attractiveness, speed, and a time period are all part of the definition of strategic goals. Okay, next method are used in recruitment and selection process. Recruitment methods are the means used to sourcing candidates. Successful organizations use both in-house and external methods. So, what is internal recruitment? Internal recruitment includes job boards and posting system recruitment, database, internal advertisement, and promotion and transfer from within. In addition, the fact exciting employees knows the operation and organizational culture that advancement opportunities motivate current employees, and the performance data that is available for applicants. While external recruitment methods through planning process include advertising, print media or web, direct mail, campus recruiting, job fairs, professional and associations employees. Both internal and external recruitment strategies have their own set of benefits and cons. For instance, external recruitment might be used to hire the company's lines managers, since these positions are harder to manage. Okay, the most essential element of this role is that the knowledge, skills and ability must fulfill the requirement of the roles. Okay. Lastly, once the organization has a clearly understanding of which sorts of individual to recruit, decision about how the process will progress must be made. As a result, the organization must decide who will be in charge of recruiting and selecting applicants based on the position and department requirements from the beginning. The recruiting of external job seekers might be centralized or decentralized in a company. Okay, a single group, generally human resource professional in company, will be manage the recruiting operation in centralized recruitment, while individual company units or managers coordinate recruiting activities in a decentralized recruitment system. Despite that fact that the business units makes the final employment choice, most companies centralize the administrative ethics of recruiting and screening applicants.
As for the conclusion, each employee contributes significantly to a company's existence and development. As a consequence, it is crucial that the job be filled with the most qualified candidates. Similarly to how a square peg cannot fit into a round hole, poor hiring may have a negative impact on an organization's overall success. When a business employs the wrong individuals, the cost is often much more than not hiring at all. Recruitment is not just a tactical function for a business, it is also a critical strategic one. As a consequence, a thorough recruitment and selection process is required when it comes to recruiting and hiring elite people. The proper approach demonstrates the organization's professionalism and maturity. Effective procedure contribute to the proactive procedures, to the proactive development of a talent pool, assisting the business in meeting its medium and long-term objective. Recruiting involves a variety of stakeholders, including senior executives inside the company, and may be very time and cost intensive. As a consequence, it is critical to ensure that process is properly defined and optimized to guarantee that it satisfies all stakeholder expectations. The main goal of the recruiting team is to identify the best applicants, and using the right technique may significantly improve the experience of the candidate, interviewer, hiring manager, and human resource department. Additionally, it may contribute to your business's increased effectiveness. Human resource specialists are responsible for ensuring the appropriate recruiting and selection processes are followed in order to attract the best individuals to the business. Thank you.